Arsenal are 7 points clear at the top of the Premier League, with 8 games remaining. But here's what nobody's telling you. Manchester City have a game in hand, which means that gap could be just 4 points by this time next week. And the last time Arsenal led this title race by a similar margin, they collapsed completely and handed City the trophy. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what needs to happen for City to catch Arsenal, and why the next 6 weeks will decide the Premier League. March 4th, 2026. 2 matches, 2 very different stories. Arsenal beat Brighton 1-0. Bukayo Saka in the 9th minute. Deflected. Ugly, but it counted. 3 points. Arsenal without 2 of their most important players, and they ground out a win anyway. Meanwhile, at the Etihad, Manchester City drew 2-2 with Nottingham Forest. At home, against a side fighting relegation. 2 points dropped in a match they were expected to win comfortably. The result? Arsenal sit on 67 points from 30 games. Manchester City on 60 from 29, with 1 game still in hand. A 7-point gap, and a title race that looked settled this morning suddenly has a pulse again. Before we get into the numbers, quick ask. If you want more football breakdowns like this on GoalLine Drama, hit subscribe right now. Most of you watching haven't subscribed yet, and it takes 1 second. Before I run the math, I want to hear from you. Do you think Manchester City can still catch Arsenal? Comment yes or no right now. Let's see where GoalLine Drama stands on this, because by the end of this video, you might change your answer. Here's where everyone gets this wrong. 7 points sounds like a lot, and in most seasons with 8 games left, it would be. But here's the thing. City have that game in hand. Win it, and the gap drops to 4. 4 points with 8 games remaining is not a title race that's over. That's a title race that's alive. So let's run the actual numbers, because this is where it gets interesting. Arsenal's maximum possible points total from here, 88, if they win all 8 remaining games. City's maximum, 87, if they win all 9 of theirs. On pure mathematics alone, City cannot overhaul Arsenal if Arsenal win every single game. But nobody wins every single game. That's not how football works, and that's not how title races get decided. The number that actually matters is this. Arsenal can afford to drop a maximum of 7 points from their remaining 8 games and still guarantee the title, assuming City win everything. 7 points across 8 games is roughly 2 draws and 6 wins, or 2 losses and 6 wins. That's a very thin margin for a club that has history of finding the thinnest margins and falling right through them. And this is where it gets really interesting, because we have seen this before. Not similar, not kind of like this. Exactly this. 3 years ago, in the 2022-23 season, Arsenal were 8 points clear of Manchester City. 8. More than they are now. They had the league in their hands, a young squad playing some of the best football in the country, and a fan base daring to believe for the first time in years. Then came the draws. West Ham, Southampton. Costly, soft, inexplicable dropped points at the wrong moments. And then, April 26th, 2023, the Etihad Stadium. City 4, Arsenal 1. A humiliation that ended the race on the spot. City won 10 more points than Arsenal in those final 12 games. Arsenal finished 5 points behind. A lead that looked unassailable had evaporated in under 2 months. The players are different now. The manager has more experience. The squad is more settled. But the scar tissue from that season lives in this club's history. And every Arsenal fan watching today's table knows exactly what happened last time they were here. If this breakdown is hitting right, smash that like button and hit the bell so you don't miss the next GoalLine Drama video dropping this week. Now here's what nobody's talking about. The fixture list. Because when you lay out what both clubs still have to play, the picture looks very different from the one the table is painting. Arsenal's remaining 8 games include a trip to the Etihad on April 19th to face Manchester City directly. They also face Newcastle at home, West Ham away, and finish the season at Crystal Palace on May 24th. Every single one of those games is winnable. None of them are easy. City's remaining 9 games, according to ESPN and the Sporting News, feature a run-in that analysts have described as favourable. Burnley away, Everton away, Brentford at home, Bournemouth away, before finishing against Aston Villa at the Etihad on the final day. That is a run-in built for winning. No top 4 sides. No away days at genuinely difficult venues. City have the softer schedule, and if they take care of business, they will be right at Arsenal's shoulder heading into April. Here's the hot take, and I want to know if you agree. Arsenal actually have the harder run-in. City get to play through a gentle fixture list and build momentum quietly, while Arsenal face the direct head-to-head, a tricky Newcastle, and a West Ham side with nothing to lose. If you're a neutral watching this title race, City's schedule should worry Arsenal fans more than the 7-point gap comforts them. Drop your take in the comments. And this is where the April 19th fixture becomes everything. Arsenal travel to the Etihad with the title very much still in the balance. If Arsenal win, the gap almost certainly becomes insurmountable with 5 games left. If City win, depending on the point situation at that stage, this could be level or within 1 win of level. A 6-point swing in a single match. The entire title race, compressed into 90 minutes at the ground where Arsenal's last serious challenge fell apart. There is also one more layer to this that makes the psychology even more complicated. Before that Premier League meeting, Arsenal and City face each other again, the Carabao Cup final on March 22nd. Same 2 clubs, 3 weeks earlier, a trophy on the line. Whoever wins that final carries momentum into the league run-in. Whoever loses has to reset, respond, and prepare for the rematch on April 19th. Cups and leagues are separate competitions, but momentum and confidence are not. Now we get to the part of this conversation that statistics can't fully capture. The psychological dimension of a title race, and specifically what it means for these 2 clubs right now. Arsenal are winning without their best players. No Saliba, no Odegaard. They ground out a 1-0 win against Brighton today with a deflected goal, a defensive performance, and sheer determination. That's what title-winning teams do. They win ugly. They find a way. The 2022-23 Arsenal side couldn't do that consistently. This version might be different. But here's the other side of it. City dropped 2 points at home to a relegation-threatened side today. And that is the kind of result that plants doubt. Not panic, not crisis. Doubt. The quiet voice in the back of the dressing room that asks whether the edge is still sharp enough, whether the concentration is still there, whether a team that was 6 points clear just weeks ago can sustain the pressure all the way to May. City have been here before and won. Their experience is a genuine advantage. But dropping points at home to Forest on a night when 3 wins would have reduced the gap to 4, that's a moment you can't get back. Here's the question I want you to answer in the comments. Arsenal bottled it in 2022-23 when they had an 8-point lead. This time, the lead is 7. Different squad, more experience, better manager. But the Etihad is still on the fixture list. Do you trust Arsenal to hold on, or does history repeat itself? Drop your answer below. So here's the truth about this title race. The math says Arsenal are in front. The fixtures say City have the easier path to the finish line. The psychology says both clubs carry weight from different directions. Arsenal from the memory of collapse. City from the pressure of chasing a side that refuses to lose, even when depleted. At the start of this video, I said that gap could be 4 points by this time next week. If City win their game in hand, it will be. And 4 points with 8 games remaining, with a head-to-head still to play at the Etihad, is not a title race that's finished. It's a title race that's just getting started. 3 years ago, Arsenal had 8 points and lost it. Today, they have 7 and a harder schedule. City have a kinder run-in, a game in hand, and the experience of winning this exact kind of race before. The April 19th showdown at the Etihad could be the moment that decides everything. The same ground where it all fell apart last time. Can Manchester City catch Arsenal? The math says it's possible. The fixtures say City have reason for optimism. The history says Arsenal should be nervous. And the next 6 weeks will tell us which of those 3 things matters most. Final question before you go. Arsenal or City? Who wins the Premier League? Drop your prediction in the comments right now with the exact points total you think they finish on. I'll be going back through and replying to the best ones when the season ends. That's the full breakdown of the 2026 Premier League title race. If this hit for you, check out my related video on screen right now. Drop your next topic request below, and the most popular one becomes next week's video. See you next time.